the south of France. Wonderful stuff. Yes, garlic snails on baguette, please. Thank you. Hello? I'm relaxing, Logan. Where are you? Oh, right, FP1. Well, look, mate, you don't need me to drive the car, so strap yourself in and find a setup you like. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today we have the French Grand Prix. Completely forgot this was still on the calendar last year. Not a great track if we're honest. Paul Ricard as it looks a bit nah. But we're going to race there today and hopefully we're going to have another good race. Logan Sargeant, of course, winning last time out in Austria and moved back to third in the Drivers' Teams Championship. I mean, we're there. We're fourth. I can't really see how that's going to change. But still, you know, we're still 10 races to go. So 11 races to go even. So, yeah. You know, it is what it is, but it's looking as though it's going to be fourth for us again this season. We've never got the top three yet, I don't think, have we? Now, there's one or two things to catch you up on. The first one is a change to the sporting regs. Now, this doesn't affect us for next season because we'll be on to F1 Manager 23. But the important thing is that I had forgotten again double points last race. So, again, you're going to need to remind me in the comments because I will have forgotten by the time we get there. There is double points in the last race of this season. It's gone next year, but like I say, that doesn't help. I don't know why anyone would vote for that. It's such a stupid thing. But anyway, the other thing that's happened is we've got a new suspension on the car. Well, it's not actually on the car yet. If we just go here to the cars, to suspension, and we will change and have a look at what this does for us. Now, if we go to show rank on the grid, we can see the new one moves us up a little bit. High speed corners, top speed, helps the brake cooling a little bit as well. So there's a little bit of a gain for us to be had there. Top speed and acceleration is still an issue for us. I'm not really sure how we fix that, to be completely honest with you. But anyway, it is what it is. Now let's go back here and have a look at our drivers because they have development points as well. So Sargeant, we will go and stick that into, I don't know, I guess smoothness still. Adaptability doesn't really, it's not going to improve him that much, is it, at this point? It's kind of rubbish. I don't even know if smoothness is going to improve him that much, but let's do it anyway. Or do we make him a little bit better at overtaking, maybe? Maybe that's what we need to do so we can get some passes done. Because we do have a fairly quick car, I think. Crawford, we'll go and stick that into accuracy and control for him. Those will be his next two upgrades. You can see that his smoothness is already fairly decent, which is why he can do a little bit better. And same with adaptability than what Sargeant can. But attacking and overtaking, defending, I should say, absolutely not his thing at all. So Frederick, nothing, doesn't really matter anyway. So there we go. That is that. Let's have a look at the race. Thankfully, no rain today, which is good. Very, very hot, though. Circuit map for qualifying. Red is Sector 1, Blue Sector 2, and yellow... No, Red Sector 1, Blue Sector 2, Yellow Sector 3. Sections by speed. It's a little bit of everything, which is what you like to see in a track, which is probably why teams test here or in all different categories, not really in Formula 1 anymore. Attributes of the car, medium and high-speed corners are what we need. Now, we see the new suspension is going to help us on that front. Now, there's not been a safety car, but if there was to be, 15-second time loss for a pit stop. Otherwise, we're looking 25, 27 seconds, something like that. Expected strategy, it's a one-stop. The compound difference, now the drop-off is reasonably quick, but the time difference is not that much different, only just over half a second. So a soft tyre is not really one to use here. The hard tyre looks like it's going to be a fairly decent tyre along with the medium. So yeah, that will be that. Last year's race, it was pointless. Magnussen in 11th and Sargeant in 14th, so we need to be better than that. Historically, it's not been a great one for us either. Probably going by this, get your money on Verstappen by the looks of things. Now our performance targets for the weekend, reach Q3. Someone in the top 8 will hopefully get that, and someone into Q2, we had better get that. Finishing position, I never like to go for fastest lap this year, of course. Now, finishing streak, we have one car in the top 10 and one car in the top 10 for qualifying. That should be doable for us at this point, I would like to think. So that is that. Let's head off to the south of France. And there we go, confirmation of the weather. Warm, hot, cloudy, and a clear day on Sunday. I'll see you for qualifying. Alright, so free practice is done. Let's have a quick look and see how we did here. FP1, we had Sargeant in 13th. We had Crawford all the way down there in 20th on a hard tyre, though, and his free practice engine, gearbox and stuff are getting quite smoky at this point, so don't worry about his times. We got Sargeant there 12th in FP2 on a medium tyre, Crawford on a medium tyre down there bottom again, and then FP3, Sargeant was up in 6th, No, he wasn't. He was up in 8th, ahead behind the Aston Martin, so they've improved, haven't they? And then Crawford again, you can see way off the pace, but so much of that is just down to his engine, I think. You can see he's got a nailed his setup, though, which is good. I'll show you, you can see, look at the gearbox, the engine. Don't worry about the time necessarily. It's not quite that bad, but equally, yeah, we'd probably like him to be a little bit closer than 3 seconds off the pace, but let's hope he can get himself through Q1. Sargeant should be absolutely fine, though. Alright, so we're absolutely fine. 8th and 9th. I did do a second run with Crawford. In the end, I don't actually think I needed to. We probably could have got away with it. But look at that. Bottas in the Mercedes is out. Mercedes really are struggling this season, aren't they? Alright, let's go to Q2. Alright, we are on board with Jack Crawford. He is currently 9th after the first run. Sargeant in 6th, and that was done on used tyres. So, fresh tyres now. This, as we know, the track does eat tyres a little bit. We saw that with the softs. They don't particularly last that long. Sargeant's done a green first sector, as has Crawford. Now, there is a lot of green on this tower over here on the is it left-hand or right-hand side for if you're watching? It's left-hand side for me. It may be right-hand side for you. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The tower, this thing here. Crawford is now out as things stand. Sargeant is still in 6th. They've both done 2 green sectors, though. Is Crawford going to be able to pop himself back in? Is Sargeant, who should be safe at this point, going to be able to move himself up? Sargeant about to cross the line. Any second now. Here we go. Sargeant goes 4th. Crawford, can he get himself in? It's a long run down, and he's 11th. He's just missed it. So Crawford eliminated back in the day, of course, with when tyres top 10 were locked in. 11th wouldn't have been a bad place for him to start. But of course, if he'd done his, look at that, if he'd done his time from from Q1, a 30.5, he'd have been in. He'd have been 9th again. But look at Crawford, Sargeant, I've got to get these guys' names right. Absolutely flying, and not far off the front row of the grid either. Alright, here we go with Sargeant, currently 7th, that time done on a used set of tyres. So he should be able to go. It's the set that he did, his run, second run on Q2 on, left those tyres on to do the first run in Q3. That's usually how I do it. But let's have a look here and see what he can do. Green first sector. Now, there's not much else in terms of green on that tower. Can he get himself back up into 4th? Leclerc goes purple. So he's going to be looking good for a front row start. What can Sargeant do? We couldn't get a front row here, could we? He's gone green again. He does have a little bit of time he needs to make up, of course. But if he can match his time from Q2... well, we saw he was only just off second, wasn't he? Though Leclerc is going a little bit quicker here. Verstappen has gone fastest. It's an all Red Bull front row. Gasly stays where he is. Can Sargeant go and put himself into the top 3? Logan Sargeant, can he do it? 6th. Well, that's anticlimactic, isn't it? So there we go. He was slower. If he matched the time, then again he would have been 4th again. So yeah, we can race from here though. 4th and 11th, not terrible places to start. All right, so let's have a look at our strategy options. Now we saw the soft tire wasn't a great tire, and it's a little bit. I think we do medium hard here, to be honest. Start on the medium, and then I think it's just I think if I remember correctly, we tried a 2-stop here. If it wasn't last season, on one of the seasons we did. And it didn't work at all, did it? So I think we might do that here for Sargeant, and then for Crawford. I wonder if we try reversing it a little bit and give him a little bit of a better tyre at the end to try and come through on. But what we could do is come in a little bit sooner, so he's got that medium tyre for a little bit longer, perhaps. So I think I like those strategies. Let's see if we can get a double points finish here. Let's see if Sargeant can get himself back on the podium. Be what, 5 or 6 podiums for him this year? It's ridiculous. All right, welcome back. I don't think I've got to be excited there. He's got 2 wins and a third, I think, so it'll be his 4th podium. But either way, it's still been a cracking season for Logan Sargeant. Much better than any of us ever could have dreamed, let's be honest. We weren't expecting much, if anything, from him this season, were we? There were some of us, and I wasn't completely sure that he's got to move there on science. That's a bit of a risky one, though, and we've ended up losing a position to Ocon as well. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't completely convinced he was going to outperform Crawford, if I'm honest. So it's roughly 50-50 between the hard and the medium, though in truth the front of the field's on the medium and the back of the field's on the hard, aren't they? So if people feel like they're in the race, I think they've started on a medium here. Gasly and Leclerc, it looks like Red Bull and Alpine have split their strategies, which possibly explains that. Crawford's got a move done up into 10th past Russell. So that moves Crawford onto the hard tyre, on the hard tyre I should say, up a little bit further. And let's see if we can go and get this move done now on Carlos Sainz. He's making it difficult for us. Oh, he spun, has Crawford. He was sitting 10th.
Here's the replay.
And, well, he's not going to be 10th now, is he? What's he done? Just lit it up. Lit it up out of the final corner, and he'll do well not to be cleaned up there as well, as Williams and McLaren form a bit of a car park. Or a parking lot, since we're Team America, I suppose. But there we go. Crawford has actually got away with it to a point in that he's 15th. So that certainly could have been a lot worse for him. Now, if we go back to Sargeant here, though. And he still can't put Sainz away. Sainz on the medium tyre as well. Let's see, a little bit of a slipstream here, or draft again, since we're Team America. I've been watching a bit of NASCAR highlights, so that's how I've got all my Americanisms ready to go for this one. Here we go. Can we get up the inside of Esteban Ocon? We should have this, and then we've got the inside line for the next one as well. So that'll be job done there. Guan Yu Zhou is up next. He is having a bit of a storming part of the season here, isn't it? Aston Martin has clearly bought upgrades, but compared to Giovinazzi down there in 13th, Guan Yu Zhou is absolutely flying. So DRS is enabled. Are we going to get a move done here? It looks like we might be, I think. Maybe, maybe not. And if we can get past the hard-tired Charles Leclerc next, then that would be a nice thing as well. But unfortunately, Giovinazzi, Guan Yu Zhou, I can't speak today, can I? I've got just name diarrhea. Can we get something done here? Not quite. I don't want to use all the ERS. We'll sort of sit here for a bit. Long race. Still 50 laps to go. Multiple cars have crashed. Do we have a safety car? Do we know what's happened? We don't have a safety car.
Sounds like there's been contact. Let's have a look.
Bottas has run up the back of me. He just got past Bottas. And well, that was just ridiculously silly, wasn't it? So aerodynamics, time. How is that a penalty for Crawford? Oh, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Cannot. No, I'm not having that. I'm sorry, but that is ridiculous. Alright, so we are coming up towards the pit window here. Sargeant is 5th. He's just lost the back of Zhou and Charles Leclerc. Nothing too concerning. We were harvesting the battery a little bit, just trying to get ready for a couple of push laps when the time comes. I'm thinking we'll probably do it a couple of laps before he comes into his pit. Yeah, I'll have to have a little look whether we're expecting to come out into clean air or not. If he comes out into clean air and he pits, it depends too who pits first. But yeah, once the car's in front pit, or if we pit first when we come out, then we'll be doing a couple of deploy laps and try and get some work done that way. But yeah, Crawford's doing okay, to be fair. He's down there in 13th. He's not doing anything wrong necessarily. I don't understand how he's got a penalty when his rear wing's damaged. Like, I'm assuming because he reversed into Bottas. I don't know. Alright, pit stops are happening. Now we've just got past Ocon. We're currently 5th. You can see the cars that are in the pits there. Now where is Crawford coming out here? I wonder if we need to... He's got a little ways to go yet before he's going to actually pit though, so it's not really his time to burn just yet. But it is for Logan Sargeant. Ideally, this Ferrari would just go away. So Perez is not. It's not Sainz this time, but yeah, we didn't need that on our in lap, to be honest. But anyway, here we are. Verstappen is pitting. Gasly's done really well because he was going toe for toe with Verstappen, and Verstappen was on the medium tyre. So Gasly could be on for a home Grand Prix win here. But let's see what the Haas boys can do for us. Guan Yu Zhou is in the pits in front of us. Hopefully, or there he goes. Decent stop. 2.7, sorry. Looks a little bit better than that. But we will come out. Do we come out ahead of Carlos Sainz? That would be nice. It looks as though we are. We'll keep deploying. And is Carlos Sainz directly behind us? He is. So in all likelihood, he's going to DRS straight past us here, isn't he? There is a little gaggle of cars up here, though, it looks like. So if we get to the back of them, and then maybe we look to stop. Now, that might be Crawford, isn't it? That's Crawford, Ricardo, and Code. So, yeah. Well, Sargeant's looking good for points here. It's not going to be big points, I don't think, but safety car or something could change all of that, of course. Tell you what, Crawford's slow, though, isn't he? If he's the front of... No, Ricardo's front of this.
Yeah, copy.
Of course, Crawford's got a 5-second bloody time penalty to serve as well, doesn't he? Alright, a little bit to catch you up on here. Now, Crawford is on his in-lap. He will be pitting this lap to go into the medium tyres. Sargeant has... he's caught and will sort of pass Guan Yu Zhou, though with DRS, they're sort of going back and forth past each other. But Sainz had a crash, or a spin or something. Either way, he is gone, basically. He's at the back of the pack and no longer our concern. So, Giovinazzi owes us a stop, so does Perez, and the others are all ahead of us anyway. So I think we're going to move up to looking decent for 5th here, if we can get the better of Guan Yu Zhou, which won't be easy, because he does look quite quick. But anyway, we'll see what we get, as in comes Crawford. Now, he's going to go towards the back here, and he's got a service penalty as well, of course. So we're expecting him to come out, in all likelihood, behind Bottas, as we serve the penalty, and then the tyre changes. And he will need a safety car to get himself back into contention here. But he is still ahead of Carlos Sainz. So that's something. Maybe he can run at the back of Bottas and Bottas can get a penalty. Alright, we have caught up with Giovinazzi, who owes us a stop. Now we're going to try and use him to just now get away from Guan Yu Zhou. That is the plan. We're deploying, we're going full after this to try and break the DRS back to the 2 Aston Martins. Now, it looks like so far so good. They really needed to move Giovinazzi out of the way instantly. But that as he goes into the pits. But that looks as though we have definitely broken DRS, have we? It's over a second. We'll keep deploying, and hopefully that'll then be the end of Guan Yu Zhou. He can look at our rear wing in the distance for the rest of the race. So, 1.6 seconds. I don't know if we can have a sneaky go at fastest lap. I don't think we're quick enough, to be honest, and we're on the wrong tyre in all likelihood as well. Leclerc is 5-6 seconds up the road, essentially. I don't think that's going to happen for us today, unless something weird happens this race. But, yeah, if we can get 4th, that's a decent afternoon's work, I think. So we'll take that and run. And speaking of running, we are now over 2 seconds away from Guan Yu Zhou. So hopefully that is him seen off for this race. And the new fastest lap as well. We did do it. Nice one, Logan. Alright, now unfortunately, Sergio Perez has nicked our fastest lap. He's in 5th and he's absolutely flying. So, I don't think we're going to get 4th. In fact, we've just gone down to 5th. We just need to do our best to try and stay with him now. Let him DRS us along, and maybe towards the end of the race, although we're getting towards the end of the race now anyway, his tyres start to see past their best, and we can maybe have a quick, sneaky look at getting him back. But yeah, that's a very fast Perez, unfortunately for us. Crawford, sorry, is down there in 16th. There's not much he can do. I mean, he got a 5-second penalty for something that didn't look to be his fault, to be honest. So, you know, we'll live and learn on that one. Alright, we are coming around to start 51 lap of 53. And, well, we have hung on. We've just gone back ahead of him there, which is good to see. Crawford's moved up to 15th as well. Now, I'm trying to harvest the battery where I can here, and what we're going to try and do is like we've done a few races now, is then on the last lap or two be able to just do full deploy. What I don't want to do is harvest while we're behind, because I'm very conscious of the fact that we do not want to lose the back of Perez. So we're just sort of only harvesting when we're in front. And we have just dropped off a little bit here. Hopefully front straight DRS will bring us back, as Crawford overtakes Albon again. They're going a little bit back and forth with DRS, it looks like. So here we go. 2 laps to go. Perez has taken our fastest lap. Can we take his 4th place? That's the big question, isn't it? So this is the second last lap. Ideally, we don't want to overtake him this time around, I wouldn't have thought. So if we can just maybe just sit there, Logan. Just sit. You don't need to overtake him. You don't need to overtake him. Just sit there, mate. There we go. Just unsettle him. I like that. And we should have enough battery, I think, to deploy the last lap. Verstappen is just starting his. Can we go and get the move done? Now, I don't really want to overtake him into turn 1, if I'm honest, because that leaves us exposed up the back straight. I think ideally, although if we're going to get it done, it's going to happen. Now I think we want to deploy. And let's go. Let's go. Come on, Logan. Let's go get this 4th place from the Ferrari. Can he get it done for us? This is it. Let's go on attack with the tyres as well. We've got 7 seconds behind us, so we can probably just about afford a mistake. Oh, it's easy. It's candy from a baby. As Logan Sargeant blasts straight past Sergio Perez and up into 4th position. There shouldn't be a way for him to come back at us now. Let's go off board and just make sure of that. But yeah, this should be job done. 4th place, and Logan Sargeant just continues to do better than I think any of us thought he was capable of doing this season. So well done, Logan Sargeant. He comes around the final corner. It is 4th in France, just ahead of the very, very fast finishing Ferrari of Sergio Perez. But that's a much, much better result for us than I was expecting after qualifying. So there we go, up to the 4th, 12 points in the bank as well. We will take that and run. That is a lovely day out. And then if we go down to Crawford, 15th in the end. I mean, his day was more or less ruined by the fact that, you know, he spun, basically, took himself out of the points and then got a penalty for having Bottas driving the back of him, which didn't help things either. But yeah, so it could have been race, a what-if race for Crawford, but another stunning performance from Logan Sargeant. That keeps him 3rd in the drivers. Sainz didn't score points after his crash, so he has extended that gap there. Well, he's not going to win the championship this year, is he? Verstappen and Leclerc are just, the Red Bull's just too good. But we are looking okay for 4th in constructors, 3rd in drivers. And I think for a final season at Haas, with an all-American team finally, that is going to be deemed a success, isn't it? But that'll do it for today. The next race, I think, is the Hungarian, which is the final race before the summer break. And hopefully we can win there, or certainly finish on a nice high. Another podium would be good. But until then, guys, I've been Aussie Bill, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.